Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is ChukwunonsoCaptures, aka Mazi. Chacon, aka the Photo Cosmetic Surgeon, and this is another YouTube video. So we are in Photo Lab right now, and I know why you clicked on this video. You want to know my secret. So a lot of people hit me up on my Instagram, linked in the description below, and they asked me how I achieved a lot of the photography effects that I got and how I got certain looks and things like that, right? Like how I basically increased my skills as a photographer from, when I first started doing this really seriously to the point that I'm at now. And I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna show you guys the secret, right? So first I'm gonna explain it, and then I'm gonna go to my laptop and, share my screen with you so that you guys can understand exactly how I do it. So my secret is basically after every photo shoot, while the memory of everything that I did during the photo shoot is still fresh in my head, I put the SD card into my laptop and I just do a review of exactly what went on. Like I remember exactly during the photo shoot, maybe the sun came out in certain areas or it was darker in certain areas during the shoots, right? And maybe my camera had a little bit of trouble making it so the picture wasn't so bright or making it so the picture wasn't so dark. Or maybe there was a lot of movement and I was having trouble getting it to focus properly on certain pictures. Or just anything like that. I was just having on the spot, like on the moment things that I was trying to fix and correct and adjust throughout the photo shoot, right? So what I usually do is I try to learn a little bit from every single photo shoot, right? Every photographer is on a kind of like this cyclical journey where it's not like you just become the best you can possibly be and then you can never learn anything. Photography is like a lifelong journey, and there's always new technology coming out, better ways to do things you can learn from other photographers. It never ends, right? That's why I love it so much. So essentially, you get to look at the EXIF data, which is basically all the settings on your camera. When you look at it on your laptop, you can remember back and say, oh, in this picture, it looked really good because I had this camera setting, and then you can see the camera setting, and you can remember like, oh, okay, next time I'll do that. Or you'll be like, oh, I had this type of difficulty, like if the sun was out, it was really bright or whatever like that, and it looks like, oh, my ISO setting was too high, and that's why it was super bright. You know what I'm saying? Or, oh, look, there was some motion blur in this picture because someone was dancing. And then you'll be like, oh, it's because I was in the wrong focus mode. I was in autofocus single servo instead of autofocus continuous servo. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go through what a lot of those mean because some of those terms might be new to you guys, but I'm going to go to my laptop right now, right? And I'm gonna show you exactly how I learn, and I use this time as like a photo shoot review session time where I can like remember and learn what I'm doing, if you get what I'm saying, and then use that information, use that new knowledge to do better, that much tiny incrementally better during my next photo shoot. You get what I'm saying? All right, so follow me to my laptop and I'm gonna show you how I do this, how I basically use the lessons learned, the little bit of lessons learned at every single photo shoot, become an incrementally better photographer every single time. All right. Let's go.
All right, so welcome to my laptop screen. So like as I was saying before, sometimes you kind of get caught up in the creative direction of a photo shoot, right? You kind of get caught up in the creative direction, the photographer-client interaction, and just managing the flow and the feel of the photo shoot itself. You get so caught up that you forget to you forget about your camera settings. You know what I'm saying? Like you're so caught up in the moment that you're not really too focused on the camera. It's kind of like when you're out and you're trying to you're out at an event or a party, and you're trying to like be in the moment. You don't want to be like on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of distracts from what you're doing. And you kind of forget about the camera settings. You kind of forget about lighting sometimes because mentally it's a lot to keep track of, right? It's a lot to keep track of. because you have a person in front of you, there are clients, they're expecting a certain level of customer service, and you don't want to just be staring at your phone or staring at the camera the entire time and not actually interacting with them and making sure that the photo shoot is fun and stuff. So the way to get around that is to just become a lot more fluid with your camera. And essentially, you can review a lot of this information later on after the photo shoot in the comfort of your own home, at your own time, at your leisure, right? So I use this software to do it. It's called View NXI from Nikon. If you have a different brand of camera, they probably have their own version of the software. But essentially what the software does is that it allows you to view this EXIF data, all this metadata and this extra stuff here, so that you can see exactly what happened during the photo shoot. Because in the moment, you might not be there mentally to remember each thing, and some of these camera settings are it's easy to forget to turn them off or forget to turn them on and things like that. So if there's things that you chronically forget to turn off and turn on in terms of camera settings or things like that, manual settings and things, it's good to basically understand what your weaknesses are through this photo shoot review time. So I'm going to jump right into it. So I'm going to start. This is a fitness shoot that I did here. These are some examples that I did in the past. A fitness shoot that I did with Fit Lade, a friend of mine, and I think I'm going to link her in the description below. And this is a shoot from the West Indian Day Parade here in New York, right? So I'm going to start off with this one. So Lade did a great job during this photo shoot. This picture is not her fault. It is my fault. So Lade did an awesome job, but I don't know about that guy ChukwunonsoCaptures. I don't know if he was quite living up to his name during this photo shoot, because it doesn't look like he captured much of anything here. I mean, there's a lot of motion blur. It's not really like the best quality work, right? And this other picture, it's actually technically, from a technical standpoint, it's even worse. She did an amazing job. This is nothing. So if you're watching this, don't worry, I do you justice later. We get the better pictures coming up later. But Lade did an awesome job. But from a technical standpoint, this is not really the best picture, right? It's not really the best capture. You know what I'm saying? So in order to see exactly what's going on here, we can look at what's going on in terms of the camera info and everything. So I'm going to explain what a lot of these are. The device name, this is the camera that I was using. It's a Nikon D5300. This is my lens. And what I'm going to look at is basically, if I'm looking at this picture and I'm trying to figure out, what was going on with it, I can take a look at the focus mode, right? And as you can see, this is an AFS, which is autofocus single. And what that basically means, and the auto area mode is also single. So what that basically means is that the camera tries to focus on a single subject, and it doesn't try to refocus as the subject moves around the frame. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why you get this motion blur, because it tried to focus when she was back here, right? And then she moved a little bit as she was running, and the camera didn't try to refocus, so it kind of caught the motion blur. And that's why both of these pictures look blurry. You see what I'm saying? Because they're both shot in autofocus single. So I forgot to turn on another setting, which is important. So these are the better pictures. Look at that. Crisp picture, no motion blur. This one too, just, as you can see, she's actually going a little bit faster in these pictures, but still no motion blur. Everything is captured exactly the way it's supposed to be. Move this around. The outline of the subject does not have any of those motion artifacts. And you can see over here, I turned on a better focus mode and autofocus mode, AF area mode selection. See, AFC stands for autofocus continuous. That's what the C stands for. So what that means is that my camera will focus on the subject, right? Focus on the subject, and as it's moving through the frame, as the subject is moving through the frame, it'll continue to refocus. So it'll continue to make her sharp as she's moving through the frame, as she's going from left to right. You see that? And I also have turned on 3D tracking. So 3D tracking means that as she's moving in 3D space, it stays locked onto her. So essentially, I don't have to keep selecting the focus points. I basically set the 3D tracking, I guess maybe when it was back here, and then it remembers what she looks like. It knows that she looks different from the background, and it follows her as she's moving. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go through a lot of what all these settings mean in other videos, but the purpose of this video is just for you to understand how to do this. So as you can see, these next two pictures look a lot better than the first one. See, the first two had the motion blur. Wasn't really the best because I was in AFS. But as soon as if you can keep your eye here and watch that change to autofocus continuous with the 3D tracking. So that's basically how this photoshoot review time allows me to know, okay, I have to make a better habit of remembering, this is my weakness, for example, back then. I have to make a habit of remembering exactly to making sure that I remember the focus mode for things like this if I'm doing pictures that are, pictures that have movement in them. I think I kind of had AF single selected because I was doing like regular portraits where people are standing still. All right, so next example. This is of the West Indian Day Parade in New York, right? So as you can see, these two models are overexposed, right? They're too lit up. It was a bright and sunny day, and what you're supposed to do with your camera is to ensure that your camera's eye is changed and adjusted so that it doesn't make too much light spill onto it doesn't capture too much light from the picture, basically, right? So even if it's really bright, you're supposed to change your camera settings so that it's just right. It's not too bright, it's not too dark. If it's really dark outside, then you want to basically make your camera capture more light so that the picture isn't so dark. So in this situation, we were in the sunlight, right? As you can see, overexposed, right? Both models here, both individuals are overexposed. And we're gonna take a look now at the settings like aperture and shutter speed and ISO. So if you take a look over here, we got the shutter speed setting of f3.5. The aperture setting of f3.5, shutter speed of 1/400 seconds, and ISO of 250, right? And this picture is one that I took, and then I took another one afterwards, right? Which is a lot better. Let's take a look at, see. This is a lot better, right? It's not perfectly lit up. Some people might like this for their taste, some people might not, but it looks a lot better than this one. This picture is way too blown out. The details, you can't really see a lot of the details of the subject, but when the picture is taken with these settings, which is a lot better, you can see the actual details of these two subjects. You know what I'm saying? It's not blown out and just destroyed by all the light. So if you're wondering what's the difference between this picture and this picture, right, you can take a look at the camera setting that changed between them, right? And if you take a look at the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO for this one that's good, you can see that the shutter speed is what changed. The 1/, so this shutter speed is 1/640 seconds. And this one over here is 1/400 seconds, you see? Out of the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, which are the basic ones that could change, those are the only two that are changing. I'm gonna move left and right between them. Basically, every other camera setting is staying basically the same between these two, right? So as you can see, that difference between the camera settings, just that what's the math there? 240? Yeah, 240. That difference. So basically, as you can see that difference between the two camera settings, that 1/400 seconds and that 1/640 seconds, right? That difference is what makes a world of difference between these two pictures. As you can see, this one, that 1/400 seconds, that means that the eye of the camera is blinking a lot slower, right? This one is blinking a lot slower, and this one is blinking a lot faster. So remember what I told you? What cameras, the way they act, kind of like the human eye. When the camera blinks a lot slower, it is a slow blink, and during that slow blink, more light gets in. So the more light that gets into the eye of the camera, the brighter the picture is. But in this one, that 1/650, this is a smaller number, 640, 1/640, this is a smaller number. So that smaller number means that the camera is blinking fast. It only has a small amount of time to blink. And as it's blinking fast, less light gets in, right? Less light gets in to the camera's eye, and the picture gets darker, a little bit darker. So that is the major difference between this picture and this picture. I think what happened was I took this picture, I said, oh no, this is way too bright. And so I adjusted it, I made the camera blink faster, which means I increased the shutter speed, and boom, this picture came out and looked a lot better. All right, does that make sense? So that's essentially what I do. Just reviewed 2 photo shoots here, and this is how you kind of get a better understanding of what types of settings you have to preempt, so that way you're proactive instead of reactive, and you know if there's certain settings that you forget to turn on or turn off. That way you're a lot quicker, you're a lot more you're just on the ball during the photo shoots, okay? So that is one of the ways to become a better photographer.
All right, wasn't that fun? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna be giving you guys all of the gems. I'm gonna be dropping all the gems, all of the secrets about how to level up your photography game. That was just one of them, right? So I hope you had fun during this video. I hope you had fun, as much fun watching this video as I had making it. So please like this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see next, what you're interested in, things like that. Subscribe to this channel, please. I appreciate all your support of this channel thus far, so please continue to support it. Hit the bell button so you can get a notification anytime I make a new video, and please share this with a friend. All right, wonderful. So you guys have been great, and I will see you in the next video.